The Dynamics engine in C4DR12 is completely rewritten for this version. The old system was nearly unusable, and the latest edition couldn't be further from that. It's really easy to use. This begs the question, though, what is dynamics, and why do I need it? Well, dynamics is the accurate calculation of physically correct movement and collision of 3D objects. The reason it's cool is that you can get incredibly realistic movement of objects that would be very difficult or impossible to create with keyframes. Even though dynamics is amazing and easy to use, it's not for every situation. What I have on screen here is this bouncing ball animation that I created in a previous chapter. I'm just going to hit play here and let it go through a couple of times. So it's just a basic ball animating down the stairs. It took me literally about 2 minutes to keyframe this animation, and it looks pretty good. I've got what I think is a physically correct animation of the ball going down the stairs. There's a little bit of some stylizing of the motion here, but it looks like a ball going down the stairs. Now I'm going to switch over to another file I created, which is the same scene, except now I'm trying to do this exact same animation with dynamics. And I'm going to hit play. And I'll stop it right there. Now, it took me about half an hour to get to this same point in this file. The reason it took me half an hour is that there's a lot of trial and error that goes into creating dynamics files. Basically, when you're creating a dynamic file, it's a lot like setting up a bowling alley. And if you've ever tried to bowl before, you know that it's not easy to do. You throw that ball down there, and no matter how robotic you think you are, that ball takes a slightly different path each time it goes. All of that calculation is happening in your dynamics file each time, and so it takes a lot more setup to get to a correct dynamic simulation. So you really want to reserve dynamics for situations where you know it's going to be impossible to keyframe something. For example, let me open up this next file here. What I have here is a brick wall that's going to get smashed by this demolition ball here. Each of the bricks is a dynamic object as well as the ball that's going to smash into them. I'll hit play and let's let this play through. So if I were going to try and keyframe this animation, I would have to set individual keyframes for every single one of those bricks. It would take a long, long time to do. So in a situation like this is worth the time setting up the file. It really makes sense because the dynamics does a lot of that extra work for me. So it took me much less time to set up this file than it would have taken me to keyframe it by hand. And that's what I want to get across here, is that you should use dynamics when you know the time spent is going to be worth it in the end.